matters what you can do. Life's not fair. Let's talk about the struggle. 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, my life fell apart entirely. I was on top of the world, at the height of my career, just gotten married to the woman of my dreams. And a few months later, I felt like I went from heaven down to hell. Was cast down into hell. In that mindset, looking around at the wreckage of my life, just to let you in on what it was like to be me at the time, I was afraid to go outside. When my wife would come up behind me, if she didn't let me know she was coming, she would touch me, I would go into a fight or flight response. I would order food from one of the delivery services and I would hide. I would shut the curtains and hide while they left it on my porch just so they wouldn't see me. I was a mess. I felt terrible. I was self-destructive and I hated my life and myself. I hated everybody around me. I was filled with wretched hatred. It was terrible. And so that's where I was. I moved into this period of coping and surviving. I was just make it through the day was my daily prayer, to where I am now, where my only goal in the day is to help other people. My life is overflowing right now, and I'm not happy every single day, and my life's not perfect. It's far from it, and I am far from perfect. I'm not selling that. I'm not trying to tell you a lie. But I do want to share my mindset shift, the change in my mindset that then allowed me to apply these 3 ideas to my life to dig myself out of a hole. Okay? And I kept digging and digging up until I was out. And I've been out of the hole now. I've been out of this hole for, I don't know, maybe like a year and a half. So it's still recent. So far, this seems to be working. Where I was, someone else caused the problems in my life. The facts of my life were such that somebody else created problems that I couldn't overcome. That was my mindset. That's what appeared to be true. And I was sitting in my car outside of a yoga class, and all of a sudden, I started thinking about all of the people in my life that loved me, that I was hurting because I felt bad. It was a strange thing to do, and so I don't know what you believe, but in this case, I believe it was a divine thing. It was a thing that came from God, you could say, to me. This image in my mind, the appearances of people that I loved that were hurt by me. And I wanted to fight God, so to speak. I wanted to argue against these divine images. Like, I wanted to say, but it's not fair. Why am I responsible for my actions when someone else was so irresponsible with theirs? My life is in devastation. That is reason enough for me to behave however I'm behaving, because I have no control over my life. It didn't stick. My mindset changed in that moment. Rather than just living for me, I was going to live for the benefit of these other people. I was going to live for the benefit of other beings. I was going to put the people around me and the appearances, right, before myself. Okay, that was when things started to change. And looking back, the principles I wish I could have adopted faster are here. They're right here. I'm going to lay them out, and then I'm going to dig into them. Number 1 is understand your own identity first. Meaning, look in to figure out how you're behaving. And look at specifically not just what you're thinking and feeling, but look at your behavior. Look at it. Look at it bravely, because you might find out that what you're doing is not working, and there are things that you can change about it to make things better for yourself. So look at your own identity. Number 2, look at your own values. And you might say your identity comes from your values, right? Well, that's in a perfect world, but this is not a perfect world, and we're not perfect people. Your values are things you hold deepest and dearest to you, like family, right? God, maybe, friendship, right? The truth, honesty, expressing compassion. These are values. Write those down. I say this in almost all of my videos, right? But number 1, identity, learn your identity, self-knowledge. 2, Values. Learn what your values are. Express them. Express your values. Talk about them with someone you like. This gets to number 3. Action. Everyone knows ideas are useless without execution. What? Execution? What even is execution? What are you, killing people? Executing people? Why do we use that word? Execution. Fine, we'll use it. Execution. How do you execute? How do you get things done? Right? Especially when you're paralyzed by something like, trauma. You're triggered. You're screwed. You're dead in the water. I felt that before. It sucks. It feels like hell. It's terrible. So you need a strategy. Mindset shift. First, you're not a victim. Mindset shift. First, put other people first. That's it. First, look at what you can do in the immediate vicinity, the immediate area that you're in to make something just slightly better. And even if you don't want to, especially if you don't want to, it's not about what you want. Okay? It's about this, I can do something. That's the mindset, right? Beating the victim mentality, I can do something. You're taking your sphere of concern and you're pointing it at what you can influence, meaning your sphere of influence. Your sphere of influence is what you can control. Your sphere of concern is what you're looking at, what you're worried about. So you point what you're worried about at what you can control, little by little, and you start taking action there, tiny, tiny actions. So when you're feeling totally busted, just be gentle with yourself. But when you're kind of like, okay, I've done a couple of things. I went to the gym today. That's all I did. I ate a meal today. Maybe that's where you are. I don't know. That's where I was at one point. Did I eat today? Win. Did I sleep? Win. Those were my wins. How sad is that? It makes me sad thinking about it. Those were my wins someday. I ate and I slept. That was a win. Okay, but I did it. I actually did it. I took the action, and my mindset was, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Well, I is a pretty important component of that, identity. When I was feeling a little bit better, I had a little bit of space, I would use that space to understand, how am I behaving in my realm, in my world, my sphere of experience, right? How am I behaving? My identity. Now, we've created a very complex assessment for identity. That's linked below. You don't need to use that one. It's based on personality psychology. I recommend it. That's what I use to understand myself. It's linked below. Check it out. But just writing out your behavior is enough to get started. You don't need to understand the whole framework of the personality psychology that we built. You can just understand you. 2, values, right? All of a sudden, I was faced with a meaning crisis. I didn't know what was valuable to me. I didn't value my own life. So how could I value anything else? Right? And what a disservice to the people that I was around all of the time. It's like, if I don't value myself, then I'm actually implicitly saying I don't value their opinion. Right? And this is what our minds do when they're a little broken, a little busted. We have these delusions. Writing out my values again and again and again. I want this because I care about my family. I want more family. I value other people. I don't want my wife to be sad. I don't want my mom to cry, right? Regardless of what is fair. And this is really important. It doesn't matter what's fair. It matters what you can do. Life's not fair. Life is not fair. That is a huge bitter pill to swallow. Life's not fair. Okay? If you want to improve your life, get over it, right? Get over that. Get past it and do stuff. You want to just wallow, then focus on the unfairness. But if you want to get past it, identity, values, action. Let's get to the action part. 1, who you are, your identity. You roughly understand who you are. 2, values. You basically understand what your values are. And 3, action. Taking action against your values. The way to do it is to look at what you're doing with your time versus what you say you believe in, and then try to close that gap. If you're the kind of person that cares about your family, are you expressing that with your time? If you're the kind of person that wants to have a meaningful relationship, are you putting resources into, for example, your appearance, right? That's weird. Oh, is that vain? Your appearance for a future relationship is not vanity, right? It's like, I care about this other person having a good experience. That's a way of pivoting your mindset, right? Other people first, pivoting this mindset, right? I'm dressed for you, not for me. I'm here for you, not for me. Are you actually putting resources into increasing the value that you're putting into the world? Or are you just sad that you don't have enough of something? That's the shift. That's the subtle shift. So when you're taking actions, the way to take actions is to consider your identity, to look at your values, look at the gap between how you're spending your time and what you say you value, and take action in that gap. And if you have just, you're mindless, you're out of your mind, you're triggered, the best thing that you can do is treat yourself kindly to get through that period of time and do one nice thing for someone else. One nice thing for somebody other than you. It will break the cycle, even if it's just for a split second, dropping in to reality. Do something nice for someone else. And that is fundamentally the pattern that I applied in lots of different areas of my life to get myself out of my funk. And what it led to was becoming a yoga teacher, learning how to meditate really, really well. So I became a powerlifter briefly. So all of these things grew from this pattern, but that was the fundamental pattern. And I hope it's helpful for you. If you want to know yourself better, definitely check out our tool for doing that and our ebook for how to actually work through this as a deep system for analyzing your time and how you can align your actions with values. But if you take nothing else, know that there are other people like you, right? And you can overcome even the most insane hurdles, the most insane challenges in your life. You can. And it's not that hard to get started. And getting started is halfway to finishing, right? It's halfway to the finish line. So I'm really rooting for you. I really hope that some part of this is helpful to you in understanding my journey from like the depths of hell to somewhere closer to heaven. Not there yet, hopefully. But I really hope that helps you.